Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to issue 117 of Terminator Build the T800 from Studio Canal. Not many to go, 120 issues will complete this build, so we're almost there. Let's have a look and see what we shall be doing today. We're still on the base. The model, I think, is finished. I don't think there's anything else to do with the model itself, so we're continuing to build the base. We've got another cover piece for the base, some brackets for the main support bit, the battery box, and little clip bit for the side of the battery box, as well as assorted screws, which I've used some of already, but we'll worry about that as we go on. Let's have a look at the instructions. It says to put some batteries in the battery box, so I have prepared some batteries. I purchased some batteries to put into them. They go in, as you might imagine, they're C-size batteries. They go in alternating directions. So we get 6 volts out of these. Being the big meaty batteries, they're going to last a long time, especially as it's obviously not going to be running all of the time. So we've got that ready there already. I'll move these off to the side because we don't need them for a little while. What we do need is the final piece of the base, which is this little bit that's still going to be visible on the top. So just as well I didn't start doing any modifications to the base as yet, because there's still that to go on. This clips in place. Now you can see obviously there's a little clip here that just goes over the top of that. Now, I don't know that it's ideal because obviously it needs to clip on fairly strongly. The bottom just goes into there and that clips onto the top very strongly, actually. Like that. So that all holds together, but although you can get out these batteries, you can't really get out the batteries that are pointing the other way. Those two will come in and out because obviously the springs are there. With these, you can't actually get them out without unclipping that, which is going to be a bit of a pain. They could have designed it better to make it not be a problem like that, but there we go. They have. That's it. The other parts, we've got the brackets I shall put to one side as well. So we now need to bring in the base itself, so we can fit this. Now this obviously goes, the one side that had the cutout, that's going to slide into there, just like that. So I'm going to do it the other way up, so we can see exactly what it is we're doing. But this obviously then needs to go the other way up. We'll move the spotlight wire out of the way. And this is basically just going to sit in there like that. So that will... It just sits there. It doesn't hold in any way at all. It fits on the outside. Let's turn it over so we can see again if I can hold it in place. Yeah, it's going to line up, and things line up mostly with the other parts of it. It's not quite right, but we will be dealing with that moment a bit later on. So that's going on there like that, and then we've got to put the cable in place. So the cable from here, we haven't got much to choose from. There's only one socket remaining, so I'm going to put it into that socket. So by supporting it the other side as well when I'm pushing it down. That's that. That's all done. That's now fully wired up. Nothing will happen with it. We haven't turned the switch on anyway, but I don't know if it does anything until we've mended it and got everything connected up. Anyway, it doesn't say anything about testing, so I'm pretty sure at the moment we're not. So we have the other unit, which is going to go over that battery box there, just like that, and that will screw in place, and that gives us a little bit of support for the main thing there. Now, because I've been using the screws for the other things, and I dug into this packet for them, I've actually only got 3 screws for this at the moment. So I shall put them in place. Yes, that is in place. And when I open the next pack, when I have an extra spare screw or 2, I shall return and put in another one elsewhere. I think I should have another one spare, shouldn't I? I should have 3 spare. Yes, so I've got 2 spare at the moment, because if that was there and that was there, that's okay. That makes sense to me now. Yep, so I shall go back and tighten these up afterwards. But first, we've got to finish today's build. Now, the bracket, the big, huge metal bit, will be going on there to fill in the big gap in the middle, which is all good. This is where the supports are going to be attached to, coming out the holes over there. Now, that hole's covered by this already. It's going to take a little bit of finagling to make that fit, I think. But we'll worry about that later. For now, this bit of the base is finished. The battery thing falls out if you're not careful, so be aware of that. Although that may be just because I haven't tightened up the screws. Let's tighten up the screws and see if that holds it in place a little bit more securely. If not, well, I'll just have to make sure I remember to not have that bit loose if you're ever moving it around. Tighten down these two. While I'm here, I might as well tighten down the other one, just because otherwise I might forget. No, that's still very, very loose in there, so be aware. The battery pack is obviously designed to be removed when you need to, but it might well fall out on its own. So it comes out so you can replace the batteries. Obviously you need to do that if you need to replace the batteries. But most of the time it will live in there. Just make sure it doesn't fall out when you're doing other things. So let's go to the next part of the build. We're using this in step 8. We're taking the heavy panel supplied and identify the first pair of holes on the edge with one of the... Right. Doesn't seem to matter which way up it goes. These are obviously the 4 mounting points. So we've got 4 brackets that will need to be fitted on like that. These again don't matter which way round. So we're going to be using screws and bolts. Now these aren't going into any particular located holes or anything like that, as some of these builds are. It does say to have the screw coming from the underside. So let's start off with that. We'll put the screw coming through there. Oh, we will eventually get the screw coming through there. That's going to go on top of it like that, with the nut on the top like that. So you should be able to hold that with a finger and tighten up the screw. Now, as ever with these, you don't want to tighten it too much. You do want to tighten it at the end, very much so, but at the moment you just want to get it loosely tightened so it's holding it in place, so you've got a bit of wiggle room so you can maneuver things to get them into the right place when we're attaching other things to this. The big bracket will be going onto the top of this. Let's put that in place with a finger. Actually, no, I need to put it in place with a nut. So hold that there, turn it over, get a nut in place on that, and then swap over so the nut's in the right place for the thread to take and go in there. So that will hold that there. It will move a little bit if you need it to when you do that. Basically, I need to do the same again with all of the others. So I'll get that all done and then come back and show you how it all looks. Basically, they're just going on there like that. So I'll see you in a moment. So that's all 4 of those on there, again, loosely attached, so you can still move them around a little bit because we're going to need to adjust it to get the other bit fitted on there properly. But for now, that's that. And that is the stage complete so far this time. The film we're looking at, the Cinema Legends, is Ready Player One. I did really enjoy it. I read the book before the film. Really loved the book. Watched the film, enjoyed it, but not as much as the book. So, yeah. All good, but yeah, I don't know how they could have done it any better as such, because the book had a lot more to it, as books often do. In loving memory, obviously looking back at the past, VHS, Sony Walkmans, things like that. Yeah. All good. Right, that's that. Now, in the next issue, which is the last of this month's delivery, we will be adding another backing panel and begin work on the stand. So the final base section, the bit that actually comes up behind him to hold him in place, as well as multiple screws, of which I'll be stealing another one of those for the base. But, right, yes, so I shall see you very shortly for that, 118. Thank you very much for watching 117. I'll see you soon. Stay safe. Bye bye for now.